Welcome back to another Warframe video, and today I'm going to be talking about Warframes that are good for Steel Path. Any new upcoming players that have completed normal mode star chart, this will be a guide for you. These Warframes that are shown in the video are one of my favorites to use for Steel Path, so don't get upset if I don't say Warframes that are better than these Warframes or because they are your favorite. The rest of the builds for these Warframes that I will be naming, there will be links in the description, and so as well for the weapons. When it comes to Extermination, the Warframes that I love to use is Wisp, Exaku, Rhino, and Protea. These are really great and useful Warframes to speed up the process of killing your targets. My most favorite is the weapons I use. When it comes to my Wisp build, I like this setup because this setup will give me more damage to my weapons. And not just any weapons, it's going to be for basically primary, mostly primary because of Rifle Amp. Rifle Amp will be increasing 27% damage, alright, and that's really good. Now you can obviously swap out any mod for this for your aura, even a secondary. If you find a secondary even better than a rifle, then go right ahead and swap that out for the secondary amp, the pistol amp. So that's what I would be using for this. Also Roar, which I swapped out for my second ability, and I placed in Roar because that's going to do more damage. Alright, add on more damage since that's what the ability Rhino does. Alright, coming from Rhino. So, talking about the build setup, Arca Intensify. This is a really good mod because this is going to help you with not just only 30% ability strength, but this is going to be giving you even more ability strength for 10 seconds. Alright, adding on another 30% because, as it says here, restoring health will, with abilities grants 30%. So that's really a good mod here, and it just makes Korra even better, just adding on more damage, and it's gonna help Roar. Alright, obviously Prime Continuity is in here for more duration, of course. Really good mod. Gladiator Resolve, really nice mod too. Alright, for more health, and you know, it gives that 10% critical chance per combo multiplier for melee weapons. Uber Fiber, Umbral Vitality for a lot of health as well. Alright, this boosts up your health really good, giving that Umbra, you know, Excalibur type strength. Alright, but it's basically like for your Warframe. Stretch and Augur Secrets, more range, and let's say strength. 24% of that, 45% range. So I don't really go for too much range for this build. Obviously this is going to be type of like a solo build. Obviously this is for players as well that maybe you're in a squad with, but mainly just for yourself. Alright, and then don't worry about the rush. Just didn't have enough, you know. It is what it is. If you want that in there or not, it is what it is. Obviously Arcane Energize is the best Arcane to go with, and then you guys already know what that does. But the Molt Augmented is another add-on to the build. Now you can replace any of these Arcanes whenever you want, but I add on more strength to my build setup. So that's what I'm going to leave it off with. Let me know what you guys think about that build in the comments below. And we have to talk about our Fenmore weapon, because this is what I'm using with Wisp. So talking about this build setup, I really do like it. I enjoyed it a lot. This just gives it so much heavy damage with the slash, of course, it being 629.6 damage. I really enjoy it. Alright, with also our viral damage as well. Pretty cool weapon here, and obviously this being an incarnate weapon, you have to get this from the Angels of Zeramin. If nobody obviously at this level has this weapon, there are many other weapons that are probably in the link in the description. Alright, so these are a little bit advanced weapons as well, you know, so you gotta take a grain of salt with this one, because I'm sure some of these weapons that you guys are looking at for builds for this, you might not have it yet, but you'll have to get there at some point. So And then Primary Merciless, this is the arcane that I'm using. It gives you on rank 5 on kill 30% damage for 4 seconds, stacks up to 12 times, and 30% reload speed. So this is a great one. And I also throw on the negative 60% weapon recoil. But basically this decreases, not increases, this decreases your weapon recoil. So this makes the weapon just better to move with and not up and down as you're shooting the weapon, because this is a fast weapon and it's going to be even faster with Wisp. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this build in the comments below, because it's basically crit and status with some slash. These types of missions really do get on my nerves, especially defense. My go-to Warframes for these are Frost, Vauban, Korra, and Gara. These Warframes are really good options, and Frost has always been my main when it comes to these missions. One of the most underrated Warframes, one of the most hated on. Frost is one of my favorite Warframes when it comes down to these types of missions, of course. And my build setup just gives it an amazing setup, you know, and especially the weapon I'm using. I really do love it because it does help me through these missions. Alright, so we're going to talk about that. But first, of course, we are adding on Rifle Amp as our aura mod, because this is going to help our primary weapon get through a lot, especially with enemies. Alright, I also add on for my abilities, I add on Dispensary, alright, from Protea's ability. This will grant you everything. The universal ammo, health, and energy orbs. Alright, deploying. Alright, so this is for any of your AoE weapons, because AoE changes have been into play for these updates or these past few updates. This will help you with the AoE weapons, getting universal ammo for them. So that's going to help you a lot. Alright, but this basic build setup is just strength, duration. I lack efficiency and range, just below 100%, or above 100%, not really too much, you know. So it's even, and but I focus on strength because I want to do a lot of, basically, let's say armor for that snow globe, to protect that snow globe, or basically the thing that you're protecting. That will make a lot of sense if I said that. So yeah, that's a lot of strength there. Alright, and I'm gonna use More Intensify to upgrade that. Transit Fortitude, which decreases your duration as well. So yeah, those are important mods, and of course ability to strength from Augur Secrets. That's important as well. Alright, mostly the other mods are basic as well for health, like Vitality, Prime Flow for energy. You guys get the gist of it. This is just another, you know, sneaky mod to throw that in there for casting speed and sprint speed. You don't really need it in there. You can really put anything else in there if you want. I mean, Biting Frost is a good ability as well, because if you freeze enemies, this will give you 200 critical chance and critical damage. So that's another great mod that you can be using, but the range does suck. So you're gonna have to, you know, use it for, let's say, a harder target to fight. This will definitely make it easier to kill that harder target, just that single target, you know. Or if you hit multiple, then that's even better. And then Chilling Globe as well is another good one. Alright, if they walk in, they'll freeze to death, just in place. Alright, my arcanes, of course, it's the same. Energize, Arcane, best one yet. And the Arcane Acceleration is for my primary weapon. When it comes down to Proboscis Cernos, you're gonna have to hit the enemy, because this is on critical hit. You cannot just shoot the arrow on the ground, because if you know Proboscis Cernos, it grabs enemies. So you gotta shoot it right at them, so this arcane does activate. And then when it comes to my Proboscis Cernos weapon, this is one of my favorite weapons to use when it comes down to this again. This is the build setup for this. Primary Immersive, of course, you guys already know what this does. Pretty simple. Arrow mutation, really not much to need it, especially when I'm using Frost. I do have the dispensary, so it's not gonna matter. I also added some slash damage to this. Alright, so I have over 1486.4 slash damage. Alright, and I go for a lot of damage because I have to do the most. There is no crit chance to go off of, there is no crit multiplier to go off of, so status, slash damage, viral, all that stuff, that's going to be useful to me. And then I add in for more, especially when it comes down to these targets. This is going to help you get the best out of Proboscis Cernos to do a lot of damage. Alright, Prime Bane of Gnair, the Bane mods, any faction you go up against, this is the mod that you need to be using when it comes down to this. Alright, but every other mod, pretty basic and simple. And then, not only just that, guys, to quickly mention before we move on, you need to have a secondary weapon as well. If you are going to use a weapon like this, because this is a perfect example that I bring this into a mission, you need at least to have a secondary weapon that does crit chance, or you don't even need just a higher crit weapon. You also need a weapon that is AoE that impacts a lot of damage, a lot. I cannot stress this enough. I would be giving you bad advice if it came down to this. You need a good secondary weapon to take down the acolytes. They're going to be in your way when it comes to Steel Path, and they're very annoying, so be ready for that. The easiest missions on the planet, just use Vault to dash your way through, cause he's the only one that can run right past you. The Speed God build will blow your mind. The biggest speed goat on this planet, whatever you want to call him, Sonic, Flash, Lightning McQueen, whatever you want to call him, man. He is everything, but I'm going to call him the Speed God because the Speed God build setup is freaking amazing. I swear to God, you'll be running faster than any Warframe in here, and probably even characters that just have that speed. So I add on Sprint Boost as my aura mod because that's going to give me more sprint speed. Rush, definitely need it. It's a really good mod, more sprint speed. Alright, now when it comes to running faster, you do need strength. So I add on Blind Rage, I add on Intensify, I add on Augur Secrets, Transient Fortitude. Alright, now you also need that good duration, so I add on Narrow Minded. Alright, I add on, another sprint speed mod, Armored Agility. Alright, and the duration, of course, Prime Continuity, and an Energy Max Prime Flow for the highest Energy Max. Alright, increases a lot. This is the Speed God setup. When it comes down to this Arcane, you really can switch it out for whatever you want, whatever you desire. Alright, because the weapon that I use, the primary weapon, you might want to go for something that maybe adds this, because this is going to be for a shotgun since I'm using a shotgun. Alright, this is going to add more fire rate to your shotgun so it shoots faster, because there is no, wait a minute, primary weapons as hell as here as well. Alright, so you can definitely add that for your primary weapons because they didn't just make it for shotguns, they actually made it for all primary weapons. So hey, there you go. Either you want fire rate or damage, you pick and choose what you want. Now I use my Kozoro for this because this is going to just hit these enemies hard, like really hard, like it's crazy. So I got primary deadhead for my arcane. This gives you a rank 5 on precision headshot kill, 120% damage for 24 seconds, stacks up 3 times. You get 30% to headshot multiplier, which is very useful, and negative 50% weapon recoil, so that decreases it, making the weapon better. Alright, when it comes down to this build, damage, I also have heat on here, and adds more damage when you add blaze to your customization. Prime charge shell, and then contagious spread for corrosive damage, and just this adds on a lot. Also throw some critical chance in there and ravage for critical damage. Basic mods gonna help you out, basically do a lot of damage when it comes down to the Kozoro, because your Kozoro is pretty amazing shotgun. Definitely I would take up against if a target is hard to take down. maybe even a single assassination target, you know? That's what I definitely would use it for. So, let me know what you guys think about the build. Executing the boss fights are difficult depending on the level of difficulty with each planet, but when I play with Rhino, he is the GOAT. This is why I love having Rhino as a Warframe, because he just gives that weapon damage support slash buff when you really need it. The boy Rhino, alright? His horror mod that I'm using, this horror mod that I'm using is going to decrease armor, but you can replace it for anything you else want. If you have an aura forma, go right ahead and replace it whatever you want. If it's going to come down to definitely bringing a weapon and using that, the best choice would be go for a shotgun amp technically, because the rifle for this, because the Kuvahek is a rifle, not a shotgun, but it can definitely turn into a shotgun. For this build setup, basically I focus on a lot of strength here, and duration and range. Don't need it, and efficiency is okay, pretty okay. Not too much casting here and there. You're only casting 2 abilities, so really don't worry about the Volk here, swap out here. Alright, that's just what I wanted on there for a different build, but this is going to be the same build setup technically, because this is what I have for it. Alright, and melee weapons is what I love to go for, but we're only talking about primary weapons, so this is the build setup. Again, don't mind this mod, you can switch it out for anything you want, like more strength, more maybe something like duration as well. Maybe you want to add a little bit of efficiency in here, that would be great too. So you go ahead and do whatever you want with this, but yeah, basic mods. And then Arcane Avenger for more critical chance, for all around weapons, and then you can choose whatever you want if you don't want this in here. Alright, maybe some like primary fire rate increase, exclude shotguns. Shotguns is temple right here. Anything you want. So let me know what you guys think about this build. Now my Kuvazar setup, I really hate the fact that they ruined it for AoE, because I can't really use this weapon like this. This is one of my favorite AoE weapons for primary. Damn, man. But anyways, I had this specifically set up for the mission I was in. So, but this is still a good build setup. Alright, but you're just having Prime Bane mod in here, and basically this is for Corpus, to do damage to Corpus. Alright, so you can switch that out for wherever you want. This is still definitely a go-to setup if you are going to use the Prime Bane mods. That would definitely be helpful for any mission that you're in. Alright, but this is basically the setup. More critical chance, more damage when these 2 mods come together. Alright, all the basic stuff for crit damage, critical chance. Primary Mercy, of course, you already know that Arcane. So that's pretty simple. And then this mod as well. This is definitely needed here. But you cannot use an AoE. You cannot use the Galvanized Aptitude for this weapon since it's AoE. It's not really performing well for AoE weapons. So just keep that in mind for half the AoE weapons that are in here. Bows are limited, but you know, bows here and there are actually pretty decent, and yes, some of them do work for Galvanized Aptitude. This type of mission isn't bad at all, to be honest. I love my slow Nova, and she makes this a slow one, but a easy one. The only thing is when it comes to the maps, her molecular prime can't reach enemies that far if the map is wide. To make it easier for molecular prime to reach all enemies, just go in the middle, the center basically, of the map and cast the ability. My slow Nova build, freaking love it to death. This will get you through this mission specifically and amazingly, and it gets done really well. Alright, as I mentioned in the video, when you are having a wider map, just jump between the center, well, just in the center, not between, just in the center, and cast that ability, because that will help you reach most of the areas for when any enemies pop out anywhere. That's going to help you reach a wider range for the whole map, basically, just to get all the enemies touched on that molecular prime. Alright, dispensary is also added in here. I had to make a change to this as well. If you haven't noticed, this on the left side, dispensary is in here on replace for the wormhole. Alright, Null Star definitely was it needed to be in there for sure, so I didn't die as much, you know, because this reduces damage to you taken from enemies. So yes, this is going to be important. I'm sure more the antimatter you have, the less damage you would take, but I don't really know if that's true for sure. So, but what we can say, it does reduce damage from enemies. But for this ore mod, don't really need this on here. Don't know why it's on here, to be honest. I think I really just left it the way it is. But then again, this is also just because I don't have an ore form on here. So if you want to search it out for any dash mod, go right ahead. You know, corrosive projection is pretty good of a mod as well. Definitely gonna help you take down your enemies because it does reduce armor. So you know, that would have been a better choice. But you also have these mods like this in here as well. So, you know, that could be pretty useful. Anyways, this basically, of course, more duration, efficiency, range, and then a little bit of strength here and there. Those are all important, especially for antimatter, range and damage, but not too much damage is going to be done. But if you keep hitting the ball, it will explode and it will do more damage, of course. So definitely keep that in mind. But duration is very important for our molecular prime, and that's what we want on this build. Arcane Energize, you already know. Arcane Temple, whatever you want for your arcane choice, go right ahead. I use Temple for my shotgun, of course. This is definitely needed for the Arca Tenet Plasmor because pretty slow fire rate, and you'll see why in a minute when I show you the build. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this build setup in the comments below. But when it comes down to this bad boy, it really does help and packs a punch to my enemies. All right, when I use this plasmoric shotgun, this thing just melts enemies like crazy because the build setup is freaking fantastic. So we already got two of the amazing galvanized mods in here, just like we have the rest on our other weapons. All right, these are amazing mods, limited to some weapons, but hey, it works on this weapon. All right, and this thing melts. So corrosive, I'm doing the damage element choice of mine, and you guys can really just use any element that you want, like viral or corrosive. Pretty much other elements aren't that great. Blaze, of course, heat damage, that's what I add down here, and more damage, of course. Well, critical chance, of course, that's pretty good, pretty useful. And then galvanized acceleration for just basically keeping the beam not shooting off, basically, but keeping it straight forward, hitting our enemies without it going crazy somewhere, you know. But that's how the projectile speed, and oh, making it faster too, but our fire rate is going to make that faster 10 times, I guess, more. Primary immersive, of course, you already know, I got does already. Basic, this is the melting build right here for Tenet Arca Plasmor. It's really amazing. Oh, don't forget your added on bonus element, which is heat for mine. So yeah, let me know what you guys have for your element for the Arca Plasmor Tenet, because that is pretty special about the weapon as well. That is also going to add more damage to your weapon. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Last thing I need to talk about before I end off this video All other mission types like Spy is a Loki needed Warframe or any other stealth Warframe. Hijack is a Trinity needed Warframe for insane shield buffs. Squads need it as well. Defection and Infested Salvage can be used by any Warframes. I do recommend Exaku, Korra, Rhino, Trinity, and if you want, the best Warframe that a lot of people come down to is Saren. These missions are squad needed as well. Let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share any videos that you have liked from me so far to friends, family, and especially to someone that actually plays the game, and tell them to subscribe. Follow me on all social medias and Twitch. Links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.